Monday, our first Monday practice. Had a really good weekend. A lot of competition on Saturday. Guys were flying around, practicing hard. I think the depth has brought out our competition, so guys are really practicing at a high level. And I'm just excited that we've been staying healthy, so hopefully that stays out that way.
And obviously, you guys are approaching the midway point now of spring camp. As far as the install and all that, is that still on track? Is there anything that's maybe taking a little bit more time than you expected? Or
Not really. They're still pretty much on track. The run game looks pretty good. Quarterbacks are picking up the offense. There's a lot of them, so it was just good to see that they're all getting reps and able to show what they can do. But I think the offense is right on track.
Any group making stride that has surprised you so far in camp?
I wouldn't say that the O-line has surprised me, but it's a lot of new people, but they're just practicing well together. Just getting that camaraderie together, and if they can just continue to learn from Andy and just continue to work together, I think we'll be pretty good.
And on that note, since I don't think we've asked you specifically about Andy Kwan too much yet, what's he brought from a teaching standpoint to this group?
Just somebody, he played center, played at a high level, and he's just able to relate to the guys and teach them and get them to believe in what he's saying. He did that pretty fast, so I'm just excited to see how it goes during the season, and just continue to see him recruit and bring talent in here.
Following up with that, is anyone standing out? How is the formation of the O-line under both coaches and Tino adapting to this new offense?
Cortland's doing a good job. I would say Julian also, Fontu, Sam. DG's always been a staple on our offensive line. So just a good group, and we wanted to bring depth, and now we have some pretty good depth. So I just feel confident that we can continue to play well and play at a high level up front.
Do you know about how many recruits are coming to Friday Night Lights yet?
Not yet.
It's too early.
Yeah, I'll try to get you guys a number tomorrow.
Are you making any changes or adding anything this year based on feedback from last year's event?
Well, this year it's going to be in Drake Stadium, so that's one thing. Just give people somewhere to sit down. There's a lot of people out here last year, but it's just going to be a fun event. There's a lot of alumni are going to come back. Just want to show what UCLA has to offer and what our team can do. Just a kind of a halfway point, like a spring game, sort of.
What made you land on Drake Stadium, other than the seating? What are the benefits of having it there?
Just the seating, basically. It was a lot of people on the field, so it was kind of hard for parents and stuff to see exactly what was going on. So I think that being able to have a seating and just a stadium atmosphere can help out, just for kind of older folks to be able to watch practice.
Does that also present any challenges? Because you also want to make an event, but you also want to get things done practice-wise. Exactly. Are there any challenges to making sure you have a fine balance of both?
Yeah, so now when you're around the track, that's kind of keeping people at a certain distance. So, we can still practice and have an efficient practice and get some work done. So that was kind of one of the main reasons also.
And you mentioned earlier, the run game. Coach Stewart, obviously another new addition to the staff. What has he brought, and what are you hoping to maybe improve with the run game with him now leading the group?
Just an experienced running back coach. He's coached a lot of running backs that have ran for 1,000 yards or been very successful, made it to the next level. So I just like that it's another guy in the room that has experience and really knowledgeable and can really coach these guys. So they're doing a good job of responding to him, and he's just doing a good job of really reaching them.
And after this halfway point with all these, transfers who have come in, what have you seen from them, not only trying to integrate themselves into this team, but also take on maybe leadership roles?
That's the part that was awesome. Like a lot of the guys that were able to come in winter, you can see that they were able to insert their leadership during the winter and just being vocal. Cole Martin, Key Lawrence, just Julian Armella. So just guys that have came out and kind of let their work do the talking, but were still vocal and got guys to follow them, and now you can really see it on the field.
Have you seen the guys that have been here, embrace them as well?
Same thing. The DGs and the veterans of the team have done a good job. The J9s and they've just done a good job of inserting their leadership too, because some of those guys weren't in that role the year before. So it was big for some of our linebackers to really come in and let them know that, you know, there isn't really a fall off in this room, that these guys can play too and they can help lead.
Are you having walk-on tryouts this spring, or
Not necessarily, no.
is that different from years past?
I think we did it not necessarily last year, but the year before. Yeah.
Just kind of part of the changing landscape of things, or?
I mean, we had to get down in numbers, not necessarily
Yeah.
go up, you know, so I didn't want to add people until I know exactly where my roster is and then go from there.
And I remember at the end of the first week of camp, we obviously asked you about, you know, quarterbacks and all that. And you said you wanted to see first how they go from week 1 to week 2. When you looked at the film that second week, what strides did you particularly see, and what are you still waiting on as far as that group?
Joey's done a good job from week 1 to week 2. It's just mostly him just getting more comfortable with offense. And he's showing that each practice and walkthroughs. Anytime he's out there, you're seeing his leadership come out just a little bit more, you know. So I'm just excited to see how some of the younger guys do, how they're getting their reps and how they're dealing with that also. But Luke's been trying to come on strong, and you know, there's a real battle for that 1-2 spot.
Oh, go ahead.
Akaiga was saying how he thought the linebackers might be the strength of the defense this year, but it seems like, you know, the DBs between Cole and Key and Kanye and everybody, what are you seeing from that group, and what is their kind of dynamic that they bring to this team? Just
a lot of energy. You know, these are guys that are high motor, high energy, extrovert. Like they're talking, they're being vocal. They work hard. They're always bringing guys out here to do extra work. So just excited for that back end. But I think, yeah, like they said, I think our linebacker group it's probably the deepest, but, you know, just not a lot of them have exactly played.
And is Cam Jones now full go in team periods, or is he still coming along?
He's still coming along. He was able to get in there a few periods Saturday.
I know it's still early in the spring, but whether it's your new staff or your new players, what do you think is the biggest difference between now and this point last year?
Just being in familiar territory, really. You know, last season it was my first spring going through, but this year I'm in familiar territory. It might not be some familiar faces on both sides, like you said, coaching staff or players, but I feel like I'm in a place that I've done this before, so you just feel a little bit more comfortable.
What do you think have been the biggest things you've learned since last year?
Make sure that just everything is vertically aligned, you know, from players, coaches, everybody, all the way up to the top.
Last week, I think we saw Jaden Marshall move back to receiver. Obviously, he was originally brought here as a receiver. Mm-hmm. Is anyone else maybe getting a look at a different position in the spring?
Maybe on the same side of the ball, but nobody from offense to defense or defense to offense. Just Marshall.
Are we getting new pillars this year, or is it still going to be the DRE?
Oh no, you got to stay with your pillars. You can't. You know, it wasn't. Those are pillars. You know, it's going to be discipline, respect, and enthusiasm, no matter what.
And just one recruiting question, just as far as what Tino's maybe brought, as far as getting you into maybe different areas of the country. It seems like I know he has that background in the Northeast. It seems like Southeast Florida area and a little bit south. He seems to have some connections. Has that changed at all with some of the new coaches on staff as far as the footprint you guys are going after?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has connections all over the place, so it was mostly just let's use the resources that we have. So if people have been in an area or coached in a certain area, let's make sure that we use that. Because like I said before, when I played here at UCLA, I played with guys from all over the United States. And if you go through just our retired jerseys, most of those guys are not from California. So, you know, we want to make sure that we do take care of our backyard, but which also can add a lot more talent and stuff because this is a prestigious university.